Well, doing a lot of those calls right now, but Boomy, the word is you're going to be joining me, and there's going to be quite a few other leaders out there that are just as skilled, if not more skilled, than yours truly. So we look forward to even having more and more voices to share this phenomenal opportunity of JubiRev, Jubi Max. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to have some updates. Our president and owner is going to give us some updates. However, a good portion of tonight is going to center around training. Again, there's a lot of questions that people are asking about the Jubi Suite. We want to make sure that we understand the Jubi Suite. We want to understand how to use the Jubi Suite. People are already starting to use the Jubi Suite with placements, and we want to make sure that you've got good sound strategy as you are starting to begin using the Jubi Suite for placement purposes. Before we get into that part of the training, let's bring on our president and our owner. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this. Again, I get a chance to work very closely with the president, and he is not a 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. President. He may be more like a 6 in the morning to sometimes 1 and 2 in the morning president. So many things are happening behind the scenes to ensure that we have a long-term, not just for a good 12-month or 18-month run, but we've got a long-term, stable company, compensation plan, company, so on and so forth, so that we can dig our heels in, go to bed at night knowing that when we wake up, our company's going to be here in the morning, and that for years and years to come, we've got a phenomenal income opportunity. So with that being said, let's bring on our president, our owner, J. Joshua Beisel. Mr. Beisel, you there, my friend?
T. Lamont, how are you doing, sir?
Life is absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous.
I have some great news for you. I'm so excited. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been wanting to say this for a very, very, very long time.
Uh-oh.
So here's the amazing news that I want to share with you. I'm so excited. We have finally sold out of one of our products. We officially have one of our products on back order. I didn't think it could be done. And I'm so excited about it because as we've all come here to do one simple thing, to bring value to consumers through our amazing products and services, we have finally sold out of a product. So for those of you that are trying to order the daytime serum, you will at some point start to get a back order notification because we're on back order of that product. Absolutely fantastic. Now, here's the other good news. The other good news is I kind of thought we might get close about a couple of weeks ago, and so we went ahead and we ordered several more containers of product. But I got to tell you, T. Lamont, for me, from my perspective, this is great news because here's what I want to challenge everyone to do, and I know I can't talk too long here because we want to do training. Last week I talked for 45 minutes about updates. But I got to tell you, I'm so excited because if we can sell out of one product, we can sell out of another one. And so my goal now is to, I'm going to go through all the numbers, T. Lamont. I'm going to pick one of our products that we have plenty in stock of, and we're going to run a sales contest here. We'll probably announce that here in the next couple of weeks, probably the 1st of June. We're going to have a sales contest, and we're going to have a sellout sales contest. Our goal is to be the person, I don't know, who either sells the most or whose team sells the most, or maybe the person who sold the very last one. But we're going to have an awesome competition in June to see if we can sell out again. Bottom line is this, T. Lamont, we are literally seeing product start to grow, start to move, start to move, start to move. And here's the big thing I've noticed. I've noticed that everybody around the globe has tested our shipping system, T. Lamont, and they've all come back in with the same thing. Hey, you know, can we speed up the shipping a little bit? Are there any shipping options to where I am for tracking? Can we look at volume pricing? So there's 3 things that we have found that people have been asking about our shipping now since we opened up and started shipping products. Again, let's go through those again. Number one, they're asking is, hey, can we speed things up? Number one, can we speed things up? Number two, can we get tracking? A lot of people order a product, T. Lamont, and sometimes they even order it 2-day or 3-day, and then they're sitting there and they're on pins and needles and they say, man, I just want to know where the product is. We have not had any tracking. Now, the third thing that people really wanted to have an option to do is to get the pricing to be commensurate with the volume that they know that we're beginning to do. And so I'm very, very pleased to tell you that we have, as of right now, we have moved all of our product to a new global shipping company. Okay, I'm very pleased to tell you that. And this company has 5 locations in North America alone. And we are going to be partnering up with additional shipping centers around the globe. Now that takes time. I want to be clear, that takes a lot of time. But we are beginning the process of making some major moves. Let's talk about immediately some of the benefits we're going to be able to see. We are absolutely going to be speeding up shipping, except for, of course, the product that I just found out is now hit back order, which I'm, again, really excited about it, folks. That's what we're here to do. Go out, sell out of all the products. I'll order more. We'll go sell a whole bunch more, okay? One of the really cool things about this company is they have a same-day shipping guarantee. If orders are in by a certain time each day, they will literally, if in stock, leave the warehouse that day. This is very, very important because this actually creates a situation where product can leave the warehouse, get to the customer, or get to the independent promoter in record time. It's got to leave the same day. Can't leave 3, 4, 5 days later, okay? That's number one. Number two, and this is really important. Now, folks, you're not going to see this for about 7 days, probably, maybe 10. I don't want to overcommit. But the majority of the products we're shipping have some type of tracking available now, okay? The majority of the products we're shipping have some type of tracking. I know that, I want to be really careful, folks. There are some countries that we ship to where tracking will only say, hey, product is in country, okay? So I can't give you door-to-door tracking in areas where countries don't have door-to-door tracking available yet. I can't make that happen. But what I can tell you is that we have a strong tracking system, as strong of a tracking system, let me rephrase that, as any other company. I'm going to say that again. We have as strong of a tracking system as any other company, period, folks. This is a state-of-the-art. In fact, just to kind of give you an idea, T. Lamont, it took 12 people on my side, and I don't know how many people on their side, to get our companies connected electronically so that we can really, really have inventory control, same-day shipping, new lower prices coming, which I'm going to talk about, and then to be able to send the product and get back the tracking notification. Now, are you going to see tracking notification today? No. That's about 7 to 10 days, but it is there. It's just not visible yet. And so from a customer service perspective, we start to have some tools there I'm very excited about. But you know what, T. Lamont, let's talk about pricing. Folks, we are starting to move a lot of product. This is good, folks. This is good. That's what we're here to do, right? We're here as a company, a group of people working together to create value in the marketplace for consumers with amazing quality products and services. That's what we're here to do. And so here's what we're finding. We are running a 7-day test on all products being shipped to compare our current pricing model with the new pricing coming in. And we should be able to leverage not only our own volume, this is the key part, we're not only leveraging our own volume, T. Lamont, but also the volume of all 5 North American shipping centers to reduce significantly our shipping rates. So it's going to take a little time. I need everybody to be patient. However, when I say that, I want to be clear, this isn't something that's going to happen. It's something that's happening now. So I'm very, very excited about that. And by the way, as everyone knows, or everyone here on today's call probably has heard, JubiMax has a new coffee coming. Very exciting. I've made the announcement. That's not what we're going to talk about here on today's call. but I want to let you know that for those of you that would like to sample our new JubiMax Energy Coffee, you're going to be able to, I've had some airlifted out so that we can get them to our shipping center as quick as possible, probably another couple of weeks there, folks, to be realistic. But you're going to be able to order the new JubiMax coffee from our North American shipping centers, and you're going to be able to get that with tracking. So very, very excited that all of our products are moving into one place so that we have centralized shipping. And you know, I realize, Tilamont, that from a field perspective, this has some very powerful benefits. Not the most exciting thing, okay, because we're talking about shipping. But folks, when you are doing virtual sampling, when you're talking to a customer, a potential customer, you say, hey, listen, I know you want to lose a little bit of weight. I'm so confident that our products and services are going to help you accomplish your goals that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'm willing to get you the product for free. Just need to have you cover a little bit of shipping and handling here, get the product in your hands. That customer needs to get that product quickly if you want to maximize the opportunity to turn that prospect into a long-term repeat customer. We can't dilly-dally. So this is really key to the sales and marketing system that we're doing. And so Tilamont, that for me has been a real blessing to see that come through to fruition, and I'm very, very excited about that. We have been testing, and from what I can tell, we're going to have for a lot of people, we're going to have some dramatic benefits when it comes to price. So I'm very, very excited about that. Tilamont, back to you here, and we'll talk about any of the details of this announcement.
Okay, all right. Now, do you want to just go straight to training, or do you want to see if there are any questions specifically about the shipping?
Well, I think we can move straight to training, and I know we want to make sure that we save. I know we want to make sure we save a little bit of time for that. But if there's any questions about shipping that you coming in there, do go ahead and let me know that because it's going to be really important. And then I just have a couple more announcements here that I want to make. And again, these are just going to touch on these. Don't want anybody to think that we've forgotten about them because these are really important. Now, here in the U.S., we have a big holiday coming up this next week, right, Tilamont? Big holiday coming up?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
I want to let everybody know in advance, we will be having that call, and we have some really exciting announcements to be made on that call. So that is it. Any major questions coming in on shipping that I can answer to?
Is there a list of countries that we ship to?
I don't have a list of companies that we ship to. If you contact support about a particular country, they can tell you if we're having any difficulty shipping to that country. That'd be the fastest way to do it, rather than a list. Rather than a list, that would be better. I'm seeing a lot of people here that are pretty. I can see why we've sold out of the serum. Look at this.
Okay.
You see all that? People are excited about it. So Tilamont, listen, I know that we wanted to make sure that we saved out plenty of time. Last week I did announcements for 45 minutes, and that ran long, and so some people just had to go to sleep, and they missed out on some of the Jubi Suite training. So today I want to quickly turn it over to you and make sure I leave you with plenty of time to go through and get that done.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, and some of you had some other questions. We attempted to get some private answers there. We may not be able to get to everyone's questions about some of the other things that were coming up. We'll try, as we should have a little optional Q&A here. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our focus right now to some training on the Jubi Suite, We're getting a lot of great questions about the Jubi Suite. The Jubi Suite, ladies and gentlemen, is a major component of our compensation system. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe that even if there was no other part of our compensation, there was no DOB, there was no revenue sharing, there was what have you, because we've seen the results of this in the industry, that if we just had the Jubi Suite and the Jubi Suite alone, that we could build a massive business. We know of a company that has that has one category of products in the weight loss industry that have done phenomenally well with it. They've taken the concept that we call the Jubi Suite, and they've built to almost $1 billion company. It has been one of the fastest traditional MLMs in terms of growing over the past 5 years, and they're not even truly international just yet. I think they may have just entered Canada, I believe so, but they've primarily just been in the U.S. So when we pair the Jubi Suite with the rest of our compensation model, we've got something totally explosive, but we want to make sure that we understand it. Okay. Now, a few things that we need to understand. And again, in your back office, if you go in under your home page, if you go in under corporate overview, you can download the comp plan PDF. By the way, it is important that you go through the comp plan PDF when we're doing an income opportunity presentation. We obviously can't cover all 10 ways the company pays, and we can't cover all of the requirements to get paid on all of the ways. Make sure that you've gone through, for instance, and you've taken a look at the daily leadership bonus, and that there's an overview there, and it also talks about the qualifications. A good amount of us have now been in the system. We're getting close to 60 days. And so you need to know that with the DOB, as an example, that there is a qualifier there in terms of outside non-promoter related sales. And so we want to make sure that we are getting those non-promoter consumer sales. The first sales criteria is so low that most of us should be able to hit that very easily by just getting a family member that uses the product, so on and so forth. So make sure that you've done that and you start to communicate that to your teams. Now, let's talk about the Jubi Suite. We need to understand a couple of things about our compensation plan. Now, obviously, we get paid generationally. I hope I spelled that right. From the standpoint that if you refer someone that becomes a promoter, and that promoter then purchases Jubi Bucks as inventory, then you're commissioned on that Jubi Buck purchase, okay? And you can earn up to 10% on your first generation. If you are Emerald or you are Diamond, then you're at a 10% commission rate on your first generation. First generation means this person was enrolled by you. All right, first generation means this person was enrolled by you. Then there is a second generation. Give me just a moment. Let me pull up a quick chart here so everyone can see this. I don't necessarily have to type it in. Bear with me. So we need to understand there's a difference in generations and how that pays out, and the levels that we're going to see through the Jubi Suite. Bear with me. We'll have this up in just a moment. There we go. Okay, so for instance, if you were Diamond and you referred Mary, Mary would be first generation to you, you'd get a 10% override. All right, Mary makes a $100 Jubi Buck purchase. She makes a $1,000 Jubi Buck purchase, a $17 Jubi Buck purchase, what have you. You get a 10% override. Now, Mary's first generation to you, that relationship will never change, even if you place Mary somewhere else within your Jubi Suite structure. That relationship, Mary being first generation to you, never ever changes. Much like, for those of you who have children, you are always the parent of that child, even when that child grows up and has children of their own. You're always the parent. So you're the enroller. You enrolled Mary. Okay. Now, if Mary enrolls John, John would be second generation to you. Mary enrolls John. John is second generation to you, and you would get your applicable commission rates when they are purchasing their Jubi Bucks, so on and so forth. We're talking just about the generations here. It doesn't matter where John may be in your unilevel Jubi Suite structure. John is always second generation to you by virtue of the fact you enrolled Mary, you're Mary's parent. Mary enrolled John, so you're like John's grandparent, your papa, your nana, your big mom. Now, John enrolls Susan. Susan is third generation to you. Those generational relationships will never, ever, ever change no matter where people are placed in the structure. So, my dad, my mom, I call my dad Pomps, I call my mom Ma. If they enrolled me in Jubi, it doesn't matter where I live. I lived in North Carolina. My family and I, my wife and I, we moved our family to Florida. Yet, I am still my parent's child. Doesn't matter that we moved from North Carolina to Florida. I am still my parent's child. They are still my parents. They will never stop being my parents. I will never stop being their child. No matter where you place Mary, you're personally enrolled. She is always your personally enrolled, and you always receive the applicable commission rates based on her productivity from that standpoint. Okay, now, then what we have is an 8-level unilevel structure. What we then have is an 8-level unilevel structure. Now, there are a couple of commissions that are governed by the 8-level unilevel structure. On a daily basis, as people are generating are getting their DLB, and a portion of their DLB is paid out in Jubi Bucks, there are commissions that are paid upline, 0.5% through as many as 8 levels. However, there's also the unilevel commissions. The unilevel commissions. Let's make sure we understand this. When someone joins with us as a promoter and they opt, it is an option, it is not mandatory, they opt to have a monthly auto ship, monthly subscription, $15, $50, $100, or $200. That pays out a couple of different ways. That monthly subscription of $15, $50, $100, or $200 pays out a couple of ways. The first month pays out on what's called a CAB, all right, customer acquisition bonus. Because even though John, who you just referred, is a promoter, John is also, by virtue of his auto ship, a customer. So that pays out as a customer acquisition bonus. Now, so all first monthly subscription payments are paid out in this customer acquisition bonus, and this pays out through the 3-tier generational relationship. However, that second month and beyond, month 2, 3, 4, 17, 132, the second month and beyond, the monthly auto ship is paid through the 8-level unilevel. Okay? So when we look at that, give me a moment. We don't normally show that in a presentation, so let me go to the compensation document. Bear with me. On the 8-level unilevel, it pays out a standard 5% through as many as the 8 levels. Now let me tell you why this is so big. If someone is in your 8 levels and you are qualified, excuse me, to earn, and by the way, we need to understand this 8-level unilevel not only governs the fact that a promoter may be on auto ship, 15, 50, 100, or 200, it also goes to product movement. When we have our daytime serum that is sold out because products are getting out in the marketplace. Now, obviously, typically for that first order that a customer has, a lot of that order, maybe even all of that order, could be free to them because they used JubiBucks, in which case obviously there was no volume to put into the unilevel. But let's say that customer comes back the next month, and then the next month, and then the next month, and then they make purchases. So any purchases they make above and beyond JubiBucks becomes business volume. That business volume is going to then be placed in the unilevel. So this is not just promoters having a monthly subscription. This is also going to be, in time, we'll have far more customers and more customer activity than we have promoter activity. Okay, so this 5% all the way through. Now, what this does mean is if someone has a $15 a month subscription in your 8-level unilevel and you're qualified to be commissioned on that, well, 15 times 5%, you're earning 75 cents for the month. If they have a $50 a month, it's still 5%, you earn $2.50. $100 a month, it's $5. $200 a month, that's $10, ladies and gentlemen. That's huge. As a matter of fact, as I really started to pay attention to that, I started saying, oh my gosh, this is where we said, my heavens, if we really understand the Jubi Suite and go to work and leverage the Jubi Suite, look at what could perhaps, this is all hypothetical in terms of how, this is how it could work. I'm not saying it's going to work exactly like this, but what if in your Jubi Suite, in your unilevel, you had 3 people that maybe you personally enrolled, or maybe somebody was placed on your first level. The unilevel is a level-based system in addition to the generational overrides. This is in addition to, okay? So what if you had 3 folks on your first level, and they all at some point, maybe they started that way, maybe they built that way over time as their business grew, got to the $200 PQV, personal qualifying volume. Well, at a 5% clip, you'd be earning an extra $10 a month residually. That's $30 a month. Not rich, but we're building something here, long-lasting, long-term. What if we then leverage this unilevel on the Jubi Suite so that ultimately on our second level, there are non-folks that maybe they don't start off at 200 PQV, but they build up to 200 PQV and understand 200 PQV is not just a person being on auto ship themselves, it's the impact of customer movement as well. And so in June, we were told, I think it was last week, in June, sometime in June, early June probably, we should expect some of the customer giveaway pages to go live. Right now we've got the Jubi certificate giveaways, but what happens when someone can actually get the register and actually get the skincare sent to them or the weight loss sent to them, what have you? I think we'll even have higher conversions when people go to your sites there. All right, so understand this isn't just promoter activity. It's consumer activity, okay? So the whole thing is, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm building out my Jubi Suite, and I know we've got other leaders here and they may have different strategies. I'll just share with you my strategy and you can take it for whatever it's worth. As I'm building out my Jubi Suite, though I have personally enrolled a whole lot more than just 3 promoters, I'm looking to build out my 8-level structure. Now it won't be perfect, but I'd like to go for perfection where I've got 3 on my first level that are diamond. They're doing 200 PQV. And then in time I've got 9 on my second level, and 27 on my third level, and then 81 in time on my fourth level, so on and so forth. Because if that happened, not a perfect world, if it happened in a perfect world scenario, ladies and gentlemen, you'd be looking at almost $100,000 a month. Simply building out a 3x8 structure. Again, we are making some assumptions. It all worked perfectly, and everybody upgraded and got to the point that they had 200 PQV, so on and so forth. Won't work perfectly like that, but I can tell you, I've had teams, I've been part of teams where we had a couple $100,000 in our organization. So this right here, while it may not work perfectly, I can certainly see folks getting to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, even more per month. I believe that we'll have folks in time at 50,000, 100,000 a month or more just from the Unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite. Okay, now let's go to work here. Let's go to work here, okay? If I say Unilevel or if I say Jubi Suite, understand that in the context of this training, I'm talking about the Unilevel being powered by the Jubi Suite. So if I just say Jubi Suite, oh, he meant the Unilevel being powered by the Jubi Suite. If I said Unilevel, oh, he means Unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite. Okay, all right, so now let's make sure we understand how the Jubi Suite now can impact your business. I'm going to go to one of our training accounts here. I'm going to go in under my Jubi team. I'm going to go in under Jubi Suite. Now, again, this is a training account, so this is not a live account here. Okay, now, what you see here, as we go under the Jubi Suite, if you went to your Jubi Suite, you would see one of two things here. You would either see people that you've you'd see, one of three things. One, you would see people that you've personally enrolled, and assuming you've enrolled some folks, you're either going to see that they are in gray or they are in yellow. I'll explain the difference between gray and the yellow in just a moment. Or two, you may not see anyone there, in which case, so far you haven't enrolled any promoters, and that's okay. That's okay. Okay? I'm going to assume you've enrolled some promoters for the purposes of this training. Okay, so here, Jubi training is our primary position here. Obviously, this is our training position that we're training from. And Jubi training has enrolled a few folks. Mary Average, Larry Average, Jane Average. There is right now this annoying little box that pops up, and programming is certainly aware of that, and we'll get to that, okay? Give me just a moment, see if I can get rid of that. Okay? All right, so these are the folks that this training position has personally enrolled. Now, if they're showing in gray, then that means that that promoter, if they're showing gray, that promoter has either not been locked or moved. Now, what do I mean when we say lock? If you know that you want one of your promoters that you've enrolled to be on your first level, you enroll them, you'll always have the parental generational relationship with them, meaning that they're first generation to you. Doesn't matter where you move them, okay? But you could then choose, well, I want this person on my first level. So in this example, let's say we wanted Mary on our first level. We've already locked Mary in. Now, Mary could have an organization. She could have unilevel commissions. She could have the commissions dealing with the 0.5% when dealing with Jubi bucks that have not yet been released until she's locked. So, for instance, Larry has not been locked yet. If Larry's building a business and he's got volume underneath him by virtue of building a team and that team producing sales, whether those sales are coming from outside, promoter sales, retail sales, those sales are coming from the fact that promoters are purchasing themselves, Jubi buck purchases, so on and so forth. Any of the commissions related to that would filter in the Unilevel are sitting in a holding tank. They've not been released yet. They haven't gone anywhere. Nobody's missed out on anything. They just haven't been paid until Larry is either locked or Larry is moved. All right, so difference between locking and moving. If I lock Larry, if I choose to lock Larry here, that means that Larry is then going to remain forever on my first level. Remember, level is different from the generational relationship. He will forever remain on my first level. First level, okay? Or I could say, you know what? The generational relationship that I have with Larry will never change. If I'm qualified with 200 PQV, Diamond Director, and I get 10% override from the other part of the compensation plan, that's not going to change, but I want to help impact other people in my organization, because as I go through the compensation document, ladies and gentlemen, and as you go through the compensation document, one of the things you will find out is that the way you progress through the ranks to get from, let's say, Diamond to 1 star, as an example. Give me a moment. Let's get there. All right. To get from Diamond to 1 star, there's some additional things we need to have in place. We need to have 3 personally active and qualified Diamond Directors. We need 3 legs there. We need 3 legs there. Well, if you go through the compensation, you'll find that you can maximize the compensation. You can become our top position right now, which is presidential. You can become a presidential with 3 on your first level. Now, you have to get the presidential, you've got to enroll a minimum of 6 that become Diamond, but you can have just 3 legs. Now, so what some of us are doing is we're saying, well, wait a minute. This makes sense to me to build in 3s right now. To build 3 legs, even if I've personally enrolled 100, to build through 3 legs to get as many of those folks that we have in our organizations qualified for more and more levels of pay. Remember what happens as you progress through the ranks. You qualify for more and more levels of pay. On the 0.5%, you start qualifying at the Emerald rank, but then you pick up another level at the Diamond rank, and then you pick up another level at the 1 star / 1 carat rank, and then you pick up another couple levels at the 2 star 2 carat rank, and then ultimately you get all 8 levels of pay on the at the presidential rank. Now, the commissions are a little bit different in terms of the ranks when you're looking at the monthly subscriptions. Let me show you that. I need to go back to my document. Let me pull that up real quickly. Give me a moment. There we go. In terms of your 5% coming from the monthly subscriptions, or the monthly, I should say, monthly product movement. Okay. All right. So coming from the monthly product movement, the 5%, Jade gets 2 levels, Ruby gets 3 levels, Emerald gets 4 levels, Diamond gets 5 levels. So you can see being Diamond becomes very important here, because that gets you 5 levels of, you know, what if you're Diamond and all of a sudden you got a few diamonds in your first 5 levels and you're getting 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10. But I didn't want to get folks that's in my unilevel promoted to 1 star / 1 carat. Why? Because now they pick up a 6th level. That means who knows how much volume could be on that 6th level? What if there's $10,000 in volume falling on that 6th level, and they now get 5% of that because they got promoted? That's an extra $500 a month. Then we want to get people to 2 star. Now they pick up a 7th level. Well, if there's another 10 or 15 or $20,000 in volume on that 7th level, and they're picking up 5% of that volume, they make more money, which ultimately is going to start to feed up line anyway, and then presidential. So my focus as I'm looking at my Jubi suite is to strategically begin to place so that we help more and more people get to their promotions. I am not as concerned about where someone falls in the unilevel as I am concerned about helping as many people get promoted as I possibly can. You may wind up I may wind up, because of how I'm building and how I'm suggesting some of our leaders consider building, having people placed beyond where I'm qualified. And I'm okay with that. Why? Because my generational relationship hasn't changed at all. I still get my 10, 5, and 1s. And we could build it just with 10, 5, and 1s. So that doesn't change. What this does by using the Jubi Suite is it empowers more people to make more money. And I know if my focus is on helping more and more and more and more and more and more people make more money, I'll make more money. This is a give. The more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. The more you give in Jubi Bucks, the more you give in samples, the more you're going to get in terms of the compensation plan. Same thing. The more you give to plant in your organization, the more you can get. Okay, now with that being said, let's go to work. Let's look at the mechanics here. Let's look at the mechanics. All right, so as you go into your Jubi Suite, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? All right, anyone in gray has not been locked. If I want Larry on my first level, then I would need to click his username there, and you see that there, and then move him over here, and then I would need to lock him. I would need to lock him if I want him on my first level. Now, the way I'm personally building, and you can take it for what it's worth, what I'm doing is I'm building through 3 legs. So in this example, since we already have 3 legs, I wouldn't necessarily be locking Larry. I can reset this viewer if I need to, and that's what we're going to do here, okay? All right, so in my example, if I'm building in 3s, then what I would be doing is I would be saying, okay, well, I've got my 3. I've got Mary Average, I've got Letitia, I've got JJ Training. Now, one of the great things we could do with the Jubi Suite is we can use the Jubi Suite as leverage. So, for instance, I could go to Mary and Letitia and JJ Training and say, hey, I've got some other legs that I want to begin placing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be placing Larry Average and Jane Average later on this week. But I tell you what, I'm going to do a contest. Mary, Letitia, JJ Training, I'm doing a contest with you. And so now you are the leader. You can name the contest. The purpose of the contest is to get more production going through your entire organization so that you could then say, hey, whoever does ABC by D, E, and F, and you name what A, B, and C is. It could be whoever gets the most new customers using Jubi Bucks this week. It could be whoever, whichever one of you enrolls. The next one to enroll a new promoter, and that new promoter upgrades, you're going to get my next leg, okay? You can name the contest. The purpose of the contest is to get more production moving through your organization. So let's say you ran a contest. That contest could be a day long, a week long. Be mindful that currently when a person comes into your system, when they upgrade, there's a 60-day window before that person is permanently placed by the system. Now, the company has not implemented that just yet. If it had been implemented, then some people would have gotten permanently locked over the weekend, because many of us have been in the system for, several of us have been in the system for 60 days. The company did not run that script just yet because the company felt like we needed more training so that you could do some strategic placements, okay? All right, so now, that's one of the ways that there's this company that this was modeled after. One of the ways they built so much production is because people use the Jubi Suite as a leverage tool. Mary, Letitia, JJ Training, I've got a leg that I'm going to place with one of my leaders, and you 3 are my top 3 leaders. All right, now I'm going to run a contest, and this contest says between now and then, whenever then is, I'm the leader, I can name it. Between now and then, if you do A, B, and C by D and F, whoever does that, whoever does the most ABCs by D and F, they're going to get the leg. So let's say that Mary won the contest. Congratulations, Mary. Congratulations, Mary. Congratulations. Now what we would do is we would then want to move. I'm sorry, guys. I know that's a little annoying bubble. Again, programming is familiar with that. We would then want to move Larry with Mary. How do we do that? We click on Larry average there, and you see then what happens here is this shows us, it now highlights Larry average. Over here in step 1, it tells us to select the username of the person that we want to move or place permanently. This is going to be a permanent placement. This cannot be undone, so make sure you know that this is what you want to do. And instead of locking Larry, what are we going to do? We're going to move Larry. We click move. Then it's going to ask, well, who do you want to move Larry to? Type the username of the new placement sponsor below. We want to move him with Mary. Type in Mary. And typically what happens once you type in a few keystrokes, the system will then recognize the people that may have that username or what have you. Then we just click on here on Mary average. Okay, and so now what it's going to show us, it's now going to show that, for instance, Mary average already has someone that's been either locked or placed. Anytime you see someone yellow, that person has either been locked by the personal enroller or they've been placed by someone. So we already know that Mary either has someone locked, maybe Jubi Training is her personal enrollee, or maybe someone else. Maybe there's already been a placement there. All right, so what's going to happen is we've got Larry average being moved with Mary average. We then confirm. I would admonish you to read this just to make sure, because some people may have some similar looking usernames, so make sure this is what you want to do because it's permanent. And then you put in your PIN number, whatever your PIN number happens to be. And ladies and gentlemen, we have now just effected the move. Now, how does this impact Mary? This now means that Larry average and all of the existing accumulated volume, where there were some subscriptions or there were some auto ships in Larry's organization, let's say, beyond that first month, all right, that have not yet been paid. That was in holding. That now is going to be released. Those commissions are going to be released. And so Mary, if she's qualified to earn on that first level, she's going to make some money that she didn't, that she didn't have before. The 0.5%, those are going to be released. Now going forward, Larry average is always now a part of her unilevel. So as Larry begins to build his business, that impacts Mary and it impacts you. You would be training in this example, okay? So what you've just done now, all of the monthly volume that comes from Larry's leg now will count promotion-wise for both Mary and you. Why do you want Mary to get her promotion sooner rather than later? Because that means she starts earning more money. If she's earning more money, what's the chances that she's leaving? She's not going anywhere. If she's earning more money, she gets more excited. She begins to promote more herself. She's earning more money. She now has more money to purchase more products, which means you're getting more commissions. And it did not, the fact that you moved Larry with Mary did nothing to upset your generational relationship with Larry. You're still his daddy. You're still his mama. When my wife and I left North Carolina to move to Florida, I still was my daddy's son. I still was and am my mama's son. That does not change that generational relationship, but it has a huge impact potentially on Mary's business which then can have a monumental impact on your business. Now, is it true? Is it true that now Larry is on, in this example, your second level as opposed to your first level in the unilevel? Yes. And so some folks may be saying, well, wait a minute. What that means is eventually I may lose a level of pay. I want you to look at this from a macro level, not a micro level, okay? I want you to look at this with the big picture. If Mary is making more money by virtue of you having made that move, then chances are she now is more solidified. One of the things that one of my multimillionaire mentors taught me in this industry, he said a recruit is not a recruit until they have a recruit. And what he simply meant by that is when you have your person that you personally enrolled starting to see growth and development in their business, then they are a lot more likely to stay linked, connected to you, connected to the company. Okay? Then he said what you want to do is you want to build a recruit leg. He said a recruit leg is at least 4 deep. So what he taught us to do was to build a recruit leg. He called it tap rooting, because a lot of times what will happen is the person that you enrolled that's first generation to you may not be the big leader that's going to help to build out your organization. They may do a little and what have you, and that's all important. But it may be 2 or 3 or 4 levels below that you actually find that leader. And so his whole thing was, when we would recruit in that particular enterprise, was, yes, we can go wide and we can personally enroll the world, but really focus on building depth. He said this. He said width equals profitability. Width is personal enrollment. Those folks that personally enroll. You know, we've got folks on today's webinar that are personally enrolled into the hundreds. He said, but depth equals security. Depth equals security. Now, what is so amazing about the Jubi Suite, or the Unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite, is that we can build both width, personal enrollments, and depth using the Jubi Suite as placements at the same time, and reward those that are working and are committed to building their business. That's how I would have you to consider looking at the Jubi Suite. It is not an entitlement tool. It is a powerful leverage tool. Okay, now let me just go through a couple other things here, and then we'll. I'd like to keep as many questions that you'll have tonight related to the Jubi Suite. Okay, because some of you have been in the system, and some of you have had other folks in the system beyond 60 days now, or right at about 60 days. The company has not turned that script on to automatically lock people in place after 60 days just yet, so that we could get more training into the field, and then people could begin to strategically make the moves as they saw fit in building your business. Give us just a moment here. A couple other things I want you to be mindful of as you're looking at your Jubi Suite. Okay, a couple other things I want you to be mindful of is you've got some great filters up here. Let's see if we can get rid of that bubble. Okay, you've got some great filters up here. You can filter. It has a default filter where it's only looking at promoters. You can also look at customers, but I wouldn't do that for placement purposes. I would keep it to where it only looks at promoters. Then you've got GQV, Group Qualifying Volume. Now, I did speak with someone in programming today, And I believe when you look at group qualifying volume right now, it did not reset. So it may be showing group qualifying volume from day one, which obviously now we've gone through a cycle where many of us that have been in the system long enough have seen that second subscription payment or that second auto ship payment. I think, in terms of what I dealt in talking with programming today, I think that the group qualifying volume that you see now is not the impact of just 1 month. It may be the impact of everything that's happened thus far. What will probably happen, as I've talked with programming, what will probably happen is that will probably reset maybe at the end of a calendar month or what have you. But you can look at the group qualifying volume, and this is a great way to begin to sort maybe your top legs. If you choose, if you've got more than 3 legs, and you choose to build through 3, or you choose to build through 5, or what have you, you guys are your own business folks, and you make your own decisions there. One of the things you can do to determine, well, where are my top legs right now, is use this filter mechanism. Let me tell you what I did here. I wanted to look at my top legs that had 10,000 or more. Some of you will have some that have 10,000 or more. Some of you won't have that just yet. Because I wanted to determine my top 3 legs. I wanted to reward those top 3 legs. And so when I did that filtering mechanism, it clearly showed me from a volume production standpoint where my top legs were. Okay. Then what I did is I went to those legs and I said, hey, I'm going to want to place a leg with you, but I want to strike a deal with you. When I place a leg with you, you place one of your legs with the leg I placed with you. It's a give. The more you give, the more you get concept. So in other words, when, let's say this is I'll just use this. This is a little higher level training here on this. Okay. Some of you won't have the numbers yet to do this. Some of you will. So let's say that one of my top legs is a dude named John. Okay. I said, hey John, I've got a leg I want to place with you. You're going to be one of my top 3 or top 5 or top 10 I'm going to build through. But John, what I need from you, buddy, I need you to commit that if I place a leg, or if I place Mary with you, then John, you're going to take one of your legs and you're going to place that with Mary. What does that do? What that then does is I'm placing Mary with John. That's going to help John towards his promotion. John places a leg with Mary. That's going to help Mary with her promotion. And, of course, John's place leg also helps him for his promotion. And guess what I then did with Mary? I said, hey, Mary, guess what? Guess what? John's going to place a leg with you, Mary. But you know what you need to do? Mary, as you're doing your Jubi Suite, you need to place a leg with John's place leg with you. See, it is the more you give, the more you get. So now what happens is Mary places a leg in John's place leg. Maybe John's place leg is Susan. And then, and now, if that person does the same, what starts to happen? Yes, I know, and eventually some of these folks are going to be placed out of my 8 levels. But this is where I have a macro view of building, saying, wait a minute, if now John's person is getting volume and is seeing residual income as a result of that volume, and what that means is John is a lot more apt to stay with us, not only as someone paying a monthly subscription or what have you, but as a promoter, someone who's actively promoting the business. And if that happens, then that impacts Mary. And if that happens, that impacts John. Because my multimillionaire mentor in this industry taught me about building a leg. And now we can use the Jubi Suite, the unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite, to help build these strong legs. For those of you that have personally enrolled quite a few, consider that concept. Consider that concept. Consider that concept. Obviously, we can't mandate that, but consider it. All right, with that being said, Mr. President, are you still with us? Perhaps Mr. President stepped away, maybe on mute here. Okay, so, let me do one last thing here. Let me just do one last thing, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A. But I'd like to keep the Q&A related to the Jubi Suite, okay? Let's do one other thing here. I want to show a mistake. We showed this last week, but I want to show it again because I heard that it happened with someone else. So I want to show you a mistake that someone made, not to pick on them. I'm not going to say their name, but I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistake, okay? Here was the mistake that was made. This is a real-life situation. We had this person here. We'll call this person, to take out their usernames, we call them Spot 1. And we had Spot 1 that had personally enrolled, I believe, 5 folks. Had personally enrolled 5. So at some point with Spot 1, there were 5 gray boxes all going vertical because they had personally enrolled those 5. Well, Spot 1 started using the Jubi Suite. And what Spot 1 did is placed all of his personally enrolled, he's got 5 personally enrolled, he placed the 4 others under one person, Spot number 2. So Spot 1 was the enroller, enrolled 5 people, locked in Spot number 2 on the first level, but then moved the other 4 in Spot 2's unilevel. Now Spot 1 enrolled a heavy hitter. One of the 5 is a heavy hitter. That happens to be Spot 6. So what Spot 1 did is didn't lock in Spot 6 on the first level. That's not a problem, the fact they didn't lock in Spot 6. It's fine if they wanted to move them. But the challenge here is Spot 1 moved their biggest player, which is Spot 6, so far down in the unilevel. Right? This is Spot 2 occupies level number 1 for Spot 1. So Spot 2 is level 1. Spot 3 is level 2. Spot 4 is level 3. Spot 5 is level 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then Spot 6, as you can see how this is mapped out here, is on the first level of Spot 5. So what this means is Spot 6, the biggest player that Spot 1 has, they moved on the first, second, third, fourth, 5th level. Now, but T. Lamont, you just told me you don't really care where they are in your unilevel structure because you're more concerned about building from a macro level. That is true. But I also personally enrolled over 100 folks. For Spot 1 hasn't enrolled nearly that amount. And so for Spot 1, if I had been talking with Spot 1 before they made this move, I would have been saying, no, you want Spot 6, that's your biggest player. If you decide to move them, don't move them so far down that maybe it's outside of your pay line. And then the other challenge with this is they have their entire organization now underneath one leg. Can someone open up your questions box and tell me why is that a challenge for promotional purposes? If we want to get Spot 1 promoted, why is it a challenge that they have all of their volume under one leg? Yeah, you've got it. You've got it, Alan. You've got it, Happy. All right. You need to have 3 legs. 3 legs on. Give me an example and make sure you've got this right now. Give me a moment. There you go. Give you a moment as you see Right now we have a total of, let's bear with me. So right now we've got back here a total, actually we got a total of more than 3 legs, because these grays that we've not moved yet are considered legs, okay? These grays that we've not, your leg is going to be what are you showing on your first level? What are you showing on your first level, okay? All right, so we've got, boy, that box is annoying, I do apologize. We've got Mary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 legs right now. Now, the way I'm building, I would then move those other 5 underneath 3 legs, but we would have 3 legs. The other thing is there is a 60% rule. For promotional purposes, there's a 60% rule that says the most you can count from any one leg is 60% of that volume. So, for instance, to get to 1 star, you need a total of 10,000 GQV, group qualifying volume, okay? That has nothing to do with JubiBucks. That has to do with product movement. Monthly subscriptions, auto ships from promoters count. Product movement, product purchases by customers, retail customers count. However, what this means is for my $10,000 GQV, I can count 1 leg for 6,000. That means the other 4,000 in volume needs to come from the combination of other legs that I have, whether that's the other 2 legs if we're building through 3 legs, or if you've got more legs that you're building through, okay? So what this person did, unfortunately, by placing the way they did, is they placed everything in 1 leg, and so now they have to go out, personally enroll at least 2 others, and start to build through those 2 other legs the volume, the remaining volume requirement they'll need for their promotion, okay? Not to mention, they put their top leg beyond where they're currently qualified to earn money. So now they still, in the unit level, they still, the parental relationship, the fact that they personally enrolled spot number 6 as an example, that doesn't go away for other parts of the compensation plan. That does not go away for other parts of the compensation plan. They are still the parent, and so they'll still make really good money. It's just that they would have made more money sooner had they done that a little bit differently. This is why the company did not want to lock people in until we had a chance to do a little bit more training on the Jubi Suite. Now, I will tell you, going forward, what happened with many of us is that we were in a pre-building mode, a pre-registration mode. Personally enrolled a lot of folks. Then we had a percentage of those folks that actually upgraded and made purchases, so on and so forth. And so now going forward, once you start placing in your Jubi Suite and you get your current placements in place, then going forward, when you have a new person coming aboard, you're probably not going to have 500 people at once that you're placing. I know we've got some folks placing 500 folks right now, or 200 folks, or so on and so forth. Okay, so what I will say is check with your enroller, check with your leader to find out if they've already placed you or if they're looking to place you, so on and so forth. Go on and start mapping out your Jubi placement strategy. The way I would do that is I would do my filters. I would see where I have the most production already. I want to reward those people that are producing to get more people into their legs, to help them get to their promotion, so on and so forth. And then let me tell you exactly what I did, and then I'll go to optional questions. What I simply took some time. I went through my entire Jubi Suite structure. I looked at every single person in my Jubi Suite structure. I hovered over them so that I could see their personal qualifying volume. I could see their group qualifying volume. You can also see their holding volume. The holding volume would be the volume that's in their leg that once they are either locked or moved, that volume is going to be paid up line, okay? And what I simply did, ladies and gentlemen, once I establish my top 3, which is what I'm building in threes, once I establish my top 3, then I simply went through and I looked at every single person. I made some notes there, and I said, oh, okay, well, this person has PQV of this person has GQV of that. Oh, okay, one of my 3, they need so much volume to get to their next promotion. So I started doing some placements in leg 1, doing some placements in leg 2, doing some placements in leg 3. But then I communicated with the folks I was doing placements with. Hey, I give you a leg. I need you to do me a favor. You got some folks that you are going to be placing. I need you to place some volume with this leg I'm giving you. And then we just kind of started having that conversation with some of our leaders. They started having conversations with some of their leaders. And so the whole idea is to get people on path to promotions, including the car bonus. All right, so I'm going to stop there. We're going to go to optional Q&As. I'm going to focus on the Q&As that have to do with the Jubi Suite. And there might be other Q&As in here that we don't get a chance to get to. You can feel free to go through the support system if you need to, okay? Give us just a moment here. Okay. Someone asks a great question. They says, what if my enroller has already placed some legs on my first level? So this particular person has had 4 people place on their first level. Congratulations to you, James, and congratulations to your enroller that they were able to enroll enough people to do that. Now, James, I can't tell you what to do. Let me tell you what you may want to consider, okay? If I had 4 legs that were placed with me, and I have not done any placing just yet, what I would do is I would start placing underneath those 4 legs. I would start placing underneath those 4 legs, okay? That would be number 1. Number 2, I would go back to my enroller, and I would say, hey, I'm going to place underneath those 4 legs. Thank you, by the way. I'm going to start placing underneath those 4 legs that you placed with me. Can you connect with them and let them know I'm going to start placing, and that if they have people to place, that I'd like them to place a leg with one of the legs I'm placing with them. And that way you are potentially able to impact more people, potentially able to impact the people that you personally enrolled. Now, I will tell you that as I went through my Jubi Suite, and I'm still going through it, but I've made all my notes that I needed to make, and I know all the placements that I'm looking to make, okay? One of the things that I did, as you will have, as some of you may very well have, you may have people that you enrolled that never upgraded, and so you see their PQV is 0. You see their GQV is 0. I'm not as concerned about placing them just yet. I'm more concerned about placing folks that already have volume, folks that are still active. They've got PQV, they've got GQV, so on and so forth. PQV would be personal qualifying volume. So when you see that, you know, well, either they sold their way to $100 worth of volume or $200 worth of volume or 15 or 50, or they have a monthly subscription, so on and so forth, and they're up to date with it, okay? So one thing that I would have you also to consider doing is doing the placements with people that have PQV/GQV, and then the ones that don't, that means they've not upgraded. So what you can then do is make a note of those that have not upgraded, just as I've been doing. You can go back to where it says My Jubi Team. It may get kicked out here. No, I'm fine. You go back to where it says My Jubi Team, and then you've got the contact information of those that personally enrolled with you. You've got email addresses, and you've got phone numbers. Anyone that shows up as an associate is someone that is not upgraded. Now, either maybe they paid their monthly subscription the first month but didn't pay it the second month. Or maybe they never did, or maybe they never got any sales volume. Remember, we can't mandate a monthly subscription but you do need to have the sales volume, and then obviously if you have a monthly subscription, that gets you some volume there. So one of the things that I would do after I start making my placements, I would go back through my organization, my personally enrolled, and I would start contacting these associates, these folks who've not upgraded, and I would let them know, hey, listen, I'm running a contest. If you upgrade today or you upgrade this week or what have you, then the next person I bring aboard that upgrades, I'm placing that leg with you. And so what you could have happen is you could go to Amir and Parvati, and Letitia's an associate here, and Ernesto's an associate here, so on and so forth. You could go to these folks, and just working that list, you might get, maybe it's 10 folks you connect with, and maybe you get 2 of them to upgrade. Well, you take one, and you place them with the other. And now all of a sudden, you got somebody who had not been engaged for whatever reason. Maybe you use that to engage them, or maybe you bring on a brand new person in time, so on and so forth. So, great question, James. The way I would consider doing that, if someone has made placements with me, is doing placements underneath the ones that have been placed with me. I would have you to get back with your enroller, because your enroller may have a preference based on what they see the volume is, based on the relationship with the people that they personally enrolled, where they feel like if you start placing underneath those 4 that were placed with you, where your enroller feels like you may get the biggest bang for the buck, okay? All right. Sandra asked a great question that I don't know I have an answer to. She said, if people on your first level have not upgraded, will they automatically be locked in? I want to say no, because they've not ever been upgraded. That's what I want to say, and I think that might be the answer. But Sandra, to be honest with you, I'd have to check with programming to make sure that's how it's programmed. Okay. Nina's asking the same questions. Are free members subject to the same 60-day time frame? Great question. I want to say no for right now, but I would need to check with programming just to make sure. Okay. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, Deborah. Let me pay attention. Let me read yours real quickly. Bear with me. Okay, so someone is saying, hey, my personal enroller is not active. My personal enroller is not actively engaged in building the business. Can I be moved? The question is, can I be moved in the Jubi suite to the one that personally enrolled that person? Deborah, what you would need to do. Now, Deborah, if the person that enrolled you is not actively engaged, they're the ones that can lock you in, or they're the ones that can move you, okay? If the person that you enrolled is not actively engaged, but you know the person that enrolled them, then what I would have you to do is to connect with the person that enrolled them and see if they would go on and lock in your enroller, or either go on and move your enroller so that your position is locked, okay? And then what will wind up happening is you're going to automatically be locked once they turn on that script and you've been in the system for 60 days or so, or more than 60 days once they run that script. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, that what is commonplace in this industry is that sometimes you'll have someone that, you know, personally enrolled you, they were pumped up and they were excited, and maybe life happened, or they decided to do other things, so on and so forth. Simply what you would do is go to the next level of leadership. I remember when I first got in this industry, my personal enroller, you know, he kind of got missing a little bit. But I knew who his enroller was, so I relied on that person for leadership, and they treated me as if they had personally enrolled me. They treated me as if they had personally enrolled me, okay? All right. Hey, Mr. Rich. Hey, buddy, good to see you. That issue from last week is still in the ball ball court of the third party. And I know that's been a little frustrating, but unfortunately those are the things that sometimes happens in business. So that's not out just yet, okay? All right, give me a moment. Someone's asking, so what do you recommend if you have an inactive, somebody who, and maybe we've already answered your question, Joyce, someone who has no PQV or GQV, because I believe, give me a moment, let me see. I believe, again, and I'm about 95% in this belief, that if a person is not upgraded, they're not locked. I believe that's how that has been programmed. I believe that's how that's been programmed. So if I've got somebody that has not upgraded, right now my focus is not moving them at all. My focus is on moving those folks that have PQV/GQV and starting the placements there. And then once I've done those placements, coming back to my Jubi team, and under my Jubi team right here is going to show my personally enrolled, and then actually going back to my personally enrolled and either emailing or calling. I'm going to be aggressive, so I'm going to be calling quite a few of mine. Maybe if I've got a bad phone number or I don't really know them that well, they maybe came aboard because of some type of online, what have you, worst case, emailing. And I'm going to be doing a campaign to basically say to them, hey, you know, I'm running a contest. You know, to win the contest, you need to upgrade. Whoever upgrades next is going to be the one that I'm going to place the next leg with, so on and so forth, okay? Give me a moment, okay? Got that one. Got that one. Someone is saying you've locked someone that has not upgraded. That's fine. You can lock them. The question, Willie, that someone was asking was, will the system automatically lock them in if they have not upgraded? I want to say the system will not, but I would not go to the bank on that one, okay? I still need to check with programming to make sure that that's programmed that way, okay? Bear with me. Give me a moment. Gotcha. Okay, Foy's asking a great question. Even though on the 60% rule, even though you can only count, thank you, Foy, because that might be a question that people would have had. On the 60% rule, even though you can only count the volume from one leg, you can count 60% of any one leg for volume for promotion purposes, you still get 100% of whatever your commissions would be based on your qualified level, so on and so forth, okay? So whether you've got everybody strung out in that one leg that we showed that we wouldn't want you to do, or whether you've got them, you know, where you got 3 strong legs or what have you, and so the 60% is not an issue because you've got 3 strong, maybe even more strong legs. Whatever your commission rate is, whatever you are doing commissions, that will be paid. And again, I want to also reiterate, from day one, from the time that the first promoter purchased the first monthly subscription, from the time the first promoter purchased the first Jubi buck, all of that volume was placed in the holding tank. So right now, if you have people in your Jubi suite that you have not placed, or they could be further in your genealogy that have not been placed, there is some holding volume of commissions that have not been paid. That holding volume of commissions is not going anywhere. And once people are either locked or people are placed, any commissions in that structure will then begin to flow up through as many as the 8 levels. Now, some of you will be qualified for it, some of you may not, because you may have someone on your 5th level that gets locked or gets placed, and then commissions flow up and you're qualified for 3 levels, all right? However, you still will be able to count the volume that's happening with that leg on the 5th level, and you're qualified for 3, you'll be able to count that volume for promotional purposes going forward, okay? And that's real key, okay? All right, let's see. Are there any other questions? Any other questions related to the Jubi Suite? Okay, so, okay, there were some questions I didn't see. So this placement is permanent. Yes. If you lock somebody in, permanent, will not be undone. If you move someone, permanent, will not be undone. So make sure that you have carefully thought that through, okay? Can a J director earn in the Jubi Suite? Yes, on the monthly subscription and or product movement volume, going back to the compensation document, excuse me. So if a person is Jade, yes, they can earn in the Jubi Suite. They would be earning 2 levels of pay related to the monthly subscription volume or the product movement volume, okay? So if someone is on your 2nd level and they have a $200 a month subscription, you would still get your 5% or $10 there. A J director does not earn on the 0.5% payouts related to the Jubi bucks. Give me just a moment. This chart here. That starts at Emerald. That starts at Emerald. However, a Jade director, though they are not earning just yet here, the volume that is going through that Jade director's organization will help them towards promotions. And then ultimately the whole game plan. The whole game plan, ladies and gentlemen, everyone that ever joins JubiRev, JubiMax should have in their sight to get promoted to Diamond. Whether that is because they have the resources to have a $200 a month auto ship, or ultimately they have the product movement that gets them to the $200 a month personal qualifying volume, or any combination. So somebody's an Emerald, $100 a month auto ship, but they've got a few customers that are producing a volume for them, another $100 in volume, they still have 200 PQV, okay? So everyone should be eyeing Diamond, whether you are there now or you have to stair-step your way. Everyone should be eyeing that. Okay, great question someone had. Okay. Moment. Okay. Okay, I think we've answered. I think we've answered most, if not all, the questions that we see here. If we happen to miss someone, I do apologize. Oh, okay. Someone is asking. Are we waiting for a green light to start moving or locking? From a company perspective, the Jubi Suite is completely ready to go. Melvin, what I would have you to do before I start making any placements is I would have you to check with your enroller, because your enroller may have a game plan that they're using, and so I would check with your enroller. I'll give you a good example. I had told my personally enrolled, hey, don't use the Jubi Suite just yet. One, I wanted to do more training on it. Number two, I was still mapping out my strategy for my personal team. And then once I did that, I started connecting with some of my leaders to say, okay, hey, I've got a deal for you. Here's the deal, buddy. I want to place a leg with you, but I need you to place a leg with the leg I placed with you. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go. So then what happened was, because they didn't, some of those folks had not started using the Jubi Suite, yeah, I started today in earnest starting to do some placements. A good amount of my day tomorrow will be doing placements, so on and so forth. So from a company perspective, you've got the green light to use the Jubi Suite. What I'd like to see you do is to be strategic in how you do it, And so if you don't have, if you've got some personally enrolled and what have you, and you haven't really thought it through, take some time. Take some time out that all you're going to do is concentrate on the Jubi Suite. Go through your personally enrolled. I'm using it as a leverage tool, not as an entitlement tool. So, for instance, again, I looked at my my top folks in terms of their production. Then I made some contacts with them. Hey, I placed a leg, you give them a leg, so on and so forth. Then as I started placing others, I started placing folks based on PQV and GQV, and then all of a sudden I saw this person, they maybe weren't a great builder, maybe they weren't a big builder just yet, but boy, they made a commitment to the company, that their PQV or their GQV, or I see them showing up on team webinars or what have you. Then I was looking for, man, can I get a leg linked to them? But boy, I really want to reward them for all of their hard work. I want to reward them for their commitment, so on and so forth. But from a company standpoint, Melvin, the green light is there. Foy, you got a great question. I have to get an answer for you on that one. I forget the answer. I forgot what the answer is to that. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we love each and every one of you. We're going to call it a night. Stay attentive to your emails and to your messages in the back office, and hopefully this has helped you to develop a strategy with your Jubi Suite. Many of you are going to start locking people in and moving folks. Just make sure that you are careful as you do that and cautious as you do that, because remember, those moves are permanent. Remember, guys, we could build a whole company just with the unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite. The beautiful part is we've got so much more than the unilevel powered by the Jubi Suite. With that being said, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Remember, JubiRev, Jubi Max, not just a company, it's a movement. Good night, everyone.
So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please get back to the person that shared this video with you, or you can send a support ticket from your JubiRev back office. Thank you. We look forward to hearing of your success.